good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another banger, as one take says. But MossBurgh is here this evening, and I'm borrowing a few of his ad libs and hitting you with another banger this evening. And this evening, it's playoffs that we talking about. It's the NBA playoffs that's going on. So MossBurgh chose to bring you part one of NBA iconic playoff performances. I think we're gonna do a couple of different series with this because there's so many different icon performances out there. But I'm not gonna hold it. I'm gonna bring it from Columbus and I'm gonna take it all the way to South Bend. And I'm gonna introduce my main man from Indiana, Bend and Air, post game. How's it going this evening? Post game sports. How you doing this evening, sir?
Man, I feel wonderful, Moss. It's always a great show when we get together on Wednesdays for the people. I appreciate you having me as always, brother. And I'm excited to get into these NBA playoff performances with you.
Yes, sir, man. And I appreciate you joining as we've been going back and forth with each other for the last, I don't know, it seemed like it's been a couple months, with the hosting the show. And, bringing these NBA playoff performances is so many out there when you speak of iconic NBA playoff performances and things like that. You think of course, MJ, you think of LeBron, you think of, Steph Curry, players like that. But we're going to take it back a little bit. I was thinking I'm going to start it off this week with Charles Barkley. I'm going to take it way back post to 1993 when Charles Barkley was with when he played against the Seattle Supersonics, when he was with the Phoenix Suns. He had a monster game, 43 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple double. And I'm going to say this was the long way when you get 43 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, and he shot perfect from the free throw line and shooting 16 for 22 from the field. When you think about Charles Barkley, and we speaking on NBA playoff iconic performances, a player that didn't get a championship, what's your thoughts on this performance? And I'm sure you could possibly remember this game. Sir Chuck, as they called him, so many other different names, but Charles Barkley with a dominant performance versus Seattle, and that was in a great game he displayed. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, that's a great game for you to pick, man. Charles Barkley is one of those guys who I think the younger generation don't know as much as they should know about him being an undersized power forward, 6'4", tough as nails, athletic as heck, coming from Auburn, coming from that South. Just amazing what he was able to do at that size. So that's a heck of a performance, bro.
Definitely, man. And for me, man, when you think of Charles Barkley, you know, he was battling so many people. And when I watched that game, it was like for him to be 93. When Chuck came in, he was really, some people looked at his size like he was bigger than everybody else. But in 93, Chuck seemed like he was a little smaller. But he dropped the 43, 15, 10, triple dub in a playoff game against the Seattle Supersonics. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Detlef Schrempf, a heck of a team he played against in that outing. And what we doing this week is not only thinking about what MossBurgh's playoff performances are, we passing at the post, and we appreciate you with your iconic performance thoughts as well, and all the things you do when you tune in and you here with me on this show. What was one of the performances that you had to bring to the people?
Yeah, of course, bro. One of my favorite childhood memories of the NBA has to be Reggie Miller. Is in Miller time, bro. Game 1, 1995, Eastern Conference semifinals, 8 points in 8.9 seconds to secure the victory against the New York Knickerbockers.
Ooh,
Reggie Miller. Yes, that's one of my favorite performances. One of the best playoff performances I saw. Definitely had me going crazy as a child watching that moment.
I like the fact of you bringing that up. That the crazy thing is, when we talk about the iconics, and you mentioned Reggie and the Knicks, you think of Spike versus Reggie. It was so many performances. The choke, as we see Halliburton do it. You seen that come back this, last season, and it makes me think of those things, and I think that's probably one of the top, most iconic performances. You talking about one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, Reggie Miller. I mean, you could go on and on. I have a buddy of mine named James Hazelwood. We called him Reggie Miller, and he could shoot that ball like no other, man. Still to this day, man, I can't wait to see him. But definitely it's something special to see what he did against those New York Knicks, and he had his way.
And
Any
my bad, bro. I didn't mean to
you
cut you
good,
off.
you good, you good.
Uh, one of the worst things about Reggie Miller's career is that he never actually got a championship.
Got shot. They laid in the street down there. They got it all roped off and blocked off.
Okay.
From Cleveland all the way to
Yeah, one of the best performances in playoff history, I think. And one of the worst things about Reggie Miller's career is that he never won an NBA championship. I think probably his best chance to win a championship was the Malice in the Palace, that team that year where everybody got suspended. Sadly, I think that would have been his best chance to win the NBA championship.
I totally agree, man. And when you speak about that, I was just watching the other day, man. Shout out to Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, all the smoke. What they do with their podcast, and they give some in-depth talks, and they really apologize to Reggie Miller. They were in tears speaking about that because they felt that they owed so much to him, and felt that that was his opportunity, to bring that championship to him. And I agree with you, man. That was, man, you think of so many things when you think of Indiana. You think of the Malice in the Palace, like you said, not to mention that, and just greatness, and another player that was a legend himself. A lot of people put this man in a GOAT post. Um, I'm starting to think that he's really a man that's deserving of GOAT status. And when you talk about legend, it's only one legend that you could really think about, Larry Legend. I really did a lot of research because I've been asking a lot of people about Larry Bird, where he, where's his status when it comes to this GOAT chapter, when it comes to the top five, top four, should it be stretched out a little longer? I went in and I looked at Larry Legend. He put on a performance post game back in 1984 NBA Finals. 34 points, 17 rebounds. I watched this game today twice. I watched highlights for at least 30 minutes. And when you speak on Larry Legend, you're speaking of a pure shooter, a great defender, which some mistake him for, very physical as well. And for me, seeing Larry Legend put up 34 against Magic Johnson, that Los Angeles Laker team, you think about Larry, you think about Magic, and you think about back when they played against each other in in college, and then to bring it to the pro level, and for Larry Legend to be able to drop a 34, 17 rebound game, to me, I think that was special. I think when you talk about iconic, it's a performance, it's a game that you could go watch over and over and learn so much from that game within itself. What's your thoughts on just Larry Legend within itself as well?
Yeah, I mean, if he's not the greatest small forward, definitely top two or three. Uh, a lot of people got him number one. Some people got him two behind LeBron James. I'm cool with that. Either way it go. I like Larry, man. His clutch. That dude was clutch. He was fearless, man. And you talk about one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time, a great rebounder in his own right, and a guy who was tough as nails. A guy along with Magic Johnson who helped save the NBA back in that time. So shout out to Larry Legend, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. And we gonna pass the mic. We not rapping, but we cooking up, as MossBurgh say here on WTP Sports Dudes. And I'm gonna pass it on over to Post because I know he got something cooking up that he want to talk about on another iconic NBA playoff performance.
Yeah, we can't talk about great NBA playoff performances without talking about the legend. Rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. And I
Yes,
know a
sir.
lot of the younger people probably aren't familiar with this performance. But I'm going to take y'all back to May 13th, 2001. Kobe Bryant against the Sacramento Kings. 48 points, 16 rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds.
Yes, sir.
9 offensive rebounds. This your two guard. To complete the sweep against the Kings with Shaq fouling out. That game, right? I remember watching that game as a younger, a preteen or teenager. Maybe I was 12 or 13 at the time, but that was one of the greatest single game performances I've seen from a player. Kobe Bryant back in 2001 dropping 48 and 16 boards with the Diesel falling out to complete the sweep against the Sacramento Kings. That's the year they only lost one game in the playoff run against the Philadelphia 76ers. That game, if somebody in the chat is unfamiliar with that game, you need to go check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But
Yeah.
that performance right there made me realize, like, yo, Kobe is that dude.
Definitely. And when you speak of that performance, it's something because our mindset be in the same atmosphere because I have that same game wrote down. And when you talking about being rest in peace to the great, we look at him as one of those guys who Mount Rushmore, you got MJ, you got Bean, you got Brian. It's so many discussions out there. But when your name jumps on this list twice, when we talking iconic performances, that in itself says something. But to double back with that performance, 2002, he came right back in a Western Conference Finals post and dropped another 30. Wasn't 40 this time, but he gave them 30 with 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals in a decisive game 7. And if they didn't realize in 01 what Kobe was coming with, he came back in 02. This was during that era where they was on that three-peat. Him and Shaq Fu. That was a name you heard at that time. So, for me, seeing what Kobe was doing, I think he began to elevate his game. 41 year, 30 the next year, but a collective as well as his teammates being more involved in that game and it being so much more. Game 7, decisive. You on the road. What more can you ask for in a young Kobe? Being rest in peace, man. I just, I got him in you see that 24, man. That's Bean, man. That's just the legend he was and still is across the basketball world. So, that was mine. Coming back with yours, I think it was only right to go ahead and double back and mention that 2002 because you talk about 2 years where Kobe really, people thought he took too many shots, but I think he was just becoming himself, understanding the game more, having that mentality that it's on my shoulders, to get this win, to get us over the hump, and which he did. And we see what it done for the organization, his legacy, and we still talking about it here today as we speak. And I'm gonna come right back to you and I'm gonna bring it back to you as we talk. And any thoughts on, those performances as we, respect and being respectively that you could think about and what he brought during his playoff era, I would say.
Yeah, I watched all those games live as a young a preteen or teenager, one of the two. I was a diehard, still is a diehard Lakers fan, but back then I could not miss a game. Excuse me, I could not miss a game back then. You talk about Shaq and Kobe, the two best players in the league at the time, in my opinion,
Yeah.
or as my uncle would say back then, Kobe Bryant was the best player in the league. Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant player in the league. So when you put those two on the same team, it's not shocking that they got the results they got. And watching Kobe evolve and grow, and it's funny when people used to say back then, "Oh, he shoot too much." I was like, my goodness, he a shooting guard.
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do.
That's what he's supposed to do. Put up those shots, Post. I agree. Definitely.
But yeah, man, it was just a pleasure watching that team, man. That's when basketball was really basketball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other performance that you had that you want to talk about? I know we got quite a few. We just gonna go back and forth, converse a little bit, because I think we just getting started for the buildup of some of the performances that we got in the bag for the people.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the folks back to 1987, and this is one of my favorite players of all time. Hakeem Olajuwon, 1987 Western Conference semifinals against the Seattle Supersonics. Check these numbers out, Moss. 49 points, 25 rebounds, and 6 blocks. See, they be talking about Jokic like so those numbers, some of those numbers not new to some of us, bro.
Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon was really him. And I wish I had a time machine or something to see him play in this era. Because I know he'd be putting up crazy stats, but to put up those, bro, 49 and 25,
That's insane, bro.
6 blocks. Like Hakeem was that dude, bro. They don't know about Hakeem the Dream, man.
That's insane. And when you speak of you said 42 points, 25 rebounds. And then you drop 7 blocks on there, folks.
49.
49, my bad.
And 25 rebounds.
That's crazy, because when you think about what we see today, this was with defense being played, in a time where you had Sampson in the game, you had Moses Malone in the game, you had Dr. J, who was playing the 5 position in the game, Kareem, you had so many greats, Daryl Dawkins playing in these times. And, to be able to do these type of things is something special. I think in today's game, Olajuwon might be a walking 40 to 50, bro. Like, and you talking about a player that elevated his game when the playoffs came. Somebody that just go out and you look at the scoreboard like you do with Tim Duncan. You got a double-double in the third quarter, and you still got a whole fourth quarter left. So it's definitely something special, to be able to speak on Olajuwon. And for those tuning in, if you haven't, done some research, or if you have, definitely go check this game out. Watch the full game. See what we talking about, what we ooh and ahhing about. Because if you put Hakeem Olajuwon at this time, not even in his prime, in the NBA now, he would still get 40 points or 50 points on average. I just think he's really, and I know he's that good. I appreciate.
You gotta think about it. He would have so much more room to operate. The game is so much more spread out than what it used to be back in the day. So, I mean, I couldn't imagine the type of points he would score. King could score. He could do it all, but he could really score. It
And
was a different.
shoot.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, man!
The dream. If people could have seen the dream post, I appreciate that one. I didn't actually even look into the performances he put on when they went on that three-peat of that year, when they did those things in that three-peat. I mean, when you speak of Olajuwon, you can't go but think about the three-peat of what they're doing. We appreciate you tuning in as well, Liam. Thanks for tuning in this evening. So, for me, just being graced to watch him in his prime, even in his time, and seeing the highlights when he played with Sampson at Houston, and then coming in NBA and play against so many great Sampson as well, special. And I'm gonna take it back even just a tad further. You said 89, right, Post? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go 9 years earlier. You remember the rivalry I was talking about? Indiana State, Michigan State. That man's name was Irvin Magic Johnson. He came on the scene as a rookie in the NBA Finals Game 6. Big man gone. What did he do? Played all 5 positions post game. This man played all 5 positions, 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. When you think about a closeout game in Philly, a 20-year-old for an iconic organization, and you go out and drop an iconic playoff performance, game 6 as a rookie, I don't know what more to ask for. And we just mentioned Daryl Dawkins. He went baseline and got an and one. I thought the and one was iconic because he got it over Dr. J and went to the bucket on Daryl Dawkins for an and one. And an iconic performance, you can't ask for much more when it comes to a 20-year-old young human being out there trying to live the dream. And Magic, man, you graced this league with so much, man. We appreciate it, which brings us to talk about it today. What's your thoughts on this one, Post? Because I thought this was unbelievable. I watched this game as well, some highlights too to it. So I just thought it was special, man. Iconic, so many more words, man.
Yeah, I mean, to ask that guy to play that position and in the biggest game, I mean, it just speaks to the type of player that Magic Johnson was, man. And it's iconic. And if you haven't seen that game, that series, I recommend you take a look.
Definitely, man. I agree. And when you said, like you said, go take a look at that series, because that series was going Philly's way. And for Magic to be who he is, what we see today, the Hall of Famer that he left the league with, graced us, and still we able to talk about it. That shows then what he was able to do, and still how iconic that performance is and was, and is still etched in the Hall of Fame books and every book you think about when you mention the NBA playoffs. And, when you think about Magic as he spoke on a hook shot, I think, that hook shot, man, in Boston, I remember watching that game too. That was a special game. You was able to see players, you're a rookie performing like that in the NBA Finals Game 6, and then to go a few years later and you playing in the iconic Boston Garden. You going against Bird, McHale, Paris, Dennis Johnson, you name it, Hall of Famers all across the board. And, the game we watched today, boy, I tell you. But just saying, Magic is special. Any thoughts on Magic, Post, before I come to you?
I mean, just in my opinion, the greatest point guard ever.
Man, I agree. And we're going to bring another one from post game because I don't know. We cooking in fish grease right now. Shout out to KT's Good Eats this weekend. We will be on the food truck. We will be cooking up. We got some of them famous chicken wings for you. We got some of that fish for you. We got them famous sides as well. And we will be at 3341 Winchester Pike. That's Winton Farms Market out there on the far east side of the city, Columbus, Ohio. Make sure all you foodies, you come out and you grab some great eats from Mr. Burr and his wife, man. It's been a great thing and a blessing. And I'm going to come to you, Post, as we was waiting for that great next iconic NBA performance splash from post game.
Yeah, I'm going to take it back to 2006, MossBurgh.
Ooh.
Dirt Nowitzki. 50 points, 5 or 6 from the 3-point line. Mavericks take a 3-2 lead. Dirk was awesome, man. A lot of people say, I know I've seen a clip of Shaq saying he was really a small forward, but that dude was just about 7 foot. And the way he could post the iconic fadeaway,
Yeah,
uh the having LeBron James and D Wade making fun of you, and then you busting their ass that same game, and
man.
then ultimately getting that championship against the Heat in the upset. So I mean, Dirk was that dude, bruh. The
Yeah,
fadeaway, I had it down packed for a few years. I
yeah.
don't know about now, but a few years I had the fadeaway down pat.
I agree, man. It's when you mention that, like I remember Dirk when he had it up at top when he made that crossover move, left hand to the cup. His fadeaway is so iconic. It's on the 2K game now. It's etched. I've seen so many people use it. You talking about the big German as they talked about, and when you think of Dirk, for us it was like seeing a Larry Bird reinvigorated, but we was actually blessed to see Dirk Nowitzki. We was blessed to see Larry Legend. It was just passing of the torch. We seen him from German, a big 7-footer that could shoot the ball from anywhere on the floor, take the ball to the cup, strength of no other, length of no other. And when the game was on the line, when you need that bucket, you know who to go to. You go to Dirk, the whiskey. You know what he could bring you, and he definitely brought that Dallas franchise a championship, and that's something Mark Cuban really built a great team and a great organization while he was there, and it's just a great thing, and seeing what Dirk has done over his years in the NBA. He blessed us with greatness, and I think talking about this, it gives me the thought is Dirk. I think that was when we really noticed the world players. We had the USA, but I think Dirk, you had Steve Nash, of course. You had you could go across the board, Stojakovic, Vlade Divac. I mean, we had a slew of them, Sabonis. I mean, so many greats. Peja, I don't want to forget Dirk's somebody over there with Dirk that I ain't want to forget about. Berea, the little guy, a few others, but just seeing how they came to the NBA and changed it. Manu Ginobili, thank you, and I appreciate that, Liam. I think it was just special to see, as well as Tony Parker. You think about so many different names when you think of what the NBA has evolved to and what it's become, and some of these iconic performances coming from them. And it's
That left.
just, man, that lift strength. Man, it's good seeing you in here, Liam, with that basketball knowledge as well. And definitely you can reach out to us, WTPsports.com, for anyone that want to join the show. You could reach out. We could definitely have you on, have some talks for you on your teams respectively, and even join us in the chat on what we talking about and what we have going for the show as well. I think it's on me. I think you passed the mic to me without me even saying it, but just the way we going, man. I appreciate you this evening, Post, and it's been a pleasure having you as we continue to indulge in some of these NBA iconic playoff performances.
Oh, always, bro.
When you think about scoring points, it takes for somebody to do what to score that point, Post? They got to give you that ball. So I brought a player in that, for me in my time of watching basketball, watching the game, I thought not only did he pass the ball great, but he kept a lot of great players from getting to that pinnacle in times of his career. And I'm talking about John Stockton. He passed the ball to the mailman many times, but this one time in the NBA Finals, Stockton went crazy. Game winner, sent Utah to the NBA Finals. And when you're talking about a city being brought to everything that the organization invested, not just invested in, but what they put into Karl Malone, John Stockton, they built so much of a team in Utah. John Stockton was so emotional after hitting that game winning shot. You're talking about a player that don't shoot the ball rarely, but when you see him shoot the ball, his wrist pops because he could do that. And he had 15 fourth quarter points versus the Rockets. And this was when the Rockets was trying to come back and make another push, before most of their players vowed out. I think they had Pippen, may have had Barkley at that time, but these Houston Rockets did not have what it take for John Stockton in this game winner. Anything you could think about when we mention the name John Stockton, I know we talking about iconic playoff performance when we talk about scoring, but this one stood out to me, because of him being so much of an assist leader throughout his career. That team that they had, Liam, Greg Ostertag, Brian Russell, uh, Mike McKean Moore. I think Mike Moore, McKean Moore's. They had a slew of players on that team. What's your thoughts on Utah post John Stockton?
One of the greatest point guards in history. Jerry Sloan was their coach. I listen. I know that John Stockton is a point guard. He was the assist man, but when I was a kid, I always felt like he should shoot more. He should be a little bit more selfish and shoot more.
Yes,
I know that he had Karl Malone, he had Carr, he had a lot of Hornacek. The players you mentioned, Moss. I know he had some decent players surrounded by him, but man, I always felt like John Stockton should shoot more when I was a kid. Definitely one of the greats.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, when you think about John Stockton, you think about the pick and roll. That's still today my favorite play in basketball, man. You could pick a roll, you could pick and pop, but the pick and roll was special because you always open post 24/7, 365. I don't care what nobody say, pick and roll, you open. I can't wait till we link up in Indy for some of that playground ball because we're gonna definitely get that going. But when you think of that, my cousin and I, man, shout out to my cousin Dink, man, we used to do the pick and roll. And John Stockton, if it wasn't for him, watching him do the pick and roll, I would have never even ran the play, thought of the play. So, think of the pick and roll today, the pick and pop, the pick, all of that. Go watch Stockton Malone. I guarantee if you love the pick and pop, you haven't even seen the pick and roll until you watch Stockton to Malone. Something special, something iconic within itself. Just hearing that name and knowing that's what they did over so many years together. And Liam, we appreciate you with all your great comments. He said, remember your point to his shorts and say longer than that. I'm not walking around like that. And I had some high school Stockton shorts at East High School. I bought in. I loved them joints. I said, if the shorts don't make you, you the player that make them shorts. And Stockton was one that reinvented what he did when you wear them shorts, man. We appreciate it as well. And I'm going to come right back to you, Post. As we doing what we do, we passing the torch back and forth. So I'm going to come over from C-Bus. I know we on screen, but I'm going to touch the screen and go ahead and get the South Bend for you. What you talking about now on the iconic side?
Hey, like I used to tell my guards when we were playing, throw it here. Whether it's up here or down, throw it here. Right there. I'm going to catch it, I promise.
Every time, man. Every time.
The playoff performance I want to look at, I got to look at one of the players that helped mold my game coming up, being an undersized post player. I'm going to Tim Duncan, and I'm going 2003 NBA Finals. He messed around and almost got a quadruple double, bro, to end the series. And I'm talking about 21 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks. The dunk truck, Tim Duncan, one of my favorite players to watch. I can watch Duncan all day. I know some people say he was boring. He was the big fundamental. Not to this basketball mind. That's exciting to me. The way that dude would face up and go off glass, that bankroll. Oh my goodness, man. Tim Duncan, what an amazing performance, bro.
Man, I remember that game, bro. I was stiffing like this is incredible. every game that we speaking on, please go back, check the footage, watch the film. You'll definitely enjoy, man. When you speak on Tim Duncan, they call him the big fundamental. You talking about a goat, man. Tim Duncan was special. Like Liam said, man, Wake Forest, man, something that, the islands, he came from the islands, man, and blessed these states with something special. You went down to Texas, gave them Twin Towers. You gave them, a big man in Texas. They was used to big things in Texas, but I don't think they was ready for the man from the Virgin Islands, big fundamental, but they were. And they welcomed him with open arms, and he was just a great man, for that organization. I think for me, watching him, the bank shot, that soft pull up, anybody Tim Duncan went against, he double. You very seldomly seen Tim Duncan have a bad game. I mean, just watching what he did was special. Said the West was a beast then too. Spurs, Mavs, Blazers, Kings, Lakers. Sheesh.
Hey,
Man,
Liam, they too wet behind the ears to know about that, my man.
the wild, wild West, Liam, as we would have thought it was. And Timmy held his own out there, man. And when you're a big man out west and you doing what Timmy did, that was special. And to almost get a quadruple double, closing out like Poe said, what else can we say? It's not much more, but just know Timmy deserve his flowers. We giving you your flowers here as we do to many players as we talk about them and speak on them throughout the year and have. Man, you just took me back. You got me ready to hoop with that one, Post. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So what I'm gonna come to, I think this is so up to date, and I think the reason I'm gonna come to this because I seen the comment early. They talked about him, and we gonna talk about him because he is king. We know how y'all feel about all the iconic games when it come to LeBron James. So for me, the one iconic game I'm gonna talk about, and it's more because of the reason I have it as an iconic game. Post, bear with me on this one. They in the process of sweeping the Houston Rockets. LeBron is playing without two superstars. One of them I see as a Hall of Famer right now in his career. One who could really be the MVP. I mean, so many things. And we talking about Luka. We talking about AR-15. In this case, LeBron James did his thing against the Houston Rockets. They were down 6 with 30 left, overtime, 29 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Now, the reason it's so iconic, Post, this elevates King James, LeBron James, as they call him, 187th career playoff victory. Have anyone or would anyone have thought that he would have more playoff victories himself than a franchise? That's crazy work, man. He had massive. I mean, it's just for me. I just thought it was an iconic one for the feat of winning 187, having more career playoff wins than the Bulls' whole organization. That's crazy work. And I definitely have some of those other playoff performances of his in this chat as well. What's your thoughts when we talk about this and we got LeBron's playoff performances iconic?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give it up, man. I mean, it's impressive. I have, me, I have my personal beliefs about LeBron James.
Yes, sir.
When you play 2,000 years, you're gonna accumulate a lot of different stats. But I mean, I can't hate on him. Shout out to the King and what he's doing with the Lakers being shorthanded, even though they should have went on ahead and stopped playing with their food and swept the Houston Rockets. What he's doing is incredible. Uh, Without Luka, without Reeves, as you mentioned, Moss,
Yeah.
even though Houston doesn't have KD, Still a good coach, still a solid supporting cast. I didn't. If you would have told me they had been swept or gentlemen swept, I wouldn't have
Yeah,
believed you. So shout out to the king and what he's doing, bro.
for sure, for sure. And I appreciate you with your comments as well, Liam. I had that at the top of my list. Definitely, definitely. I watched that game so many times. One time I took like a half hour because they didn't even have it available. You had to, I think, pay for that game one time, and that's that 2007 Eastern Conference 48 P's points is what I'm talking about against those Detroit Pistons. 25 straight, 605 in the fourth, and going. You just seen a LeBron James iconic show, which elevated him, into just doing something special and getting that title, getting that organization over the hump and things like that. And the throne in a Pistons team, and they had a dynasty going at that time. So, any thoughts when we talk about, just that performance, that game with the Detroit Pistons post?
Yeah, that's the game that I thought you were going to bring up, but uh the other game is valid as well. But yeah, that was LeBron James his coming out party. I do have to say I don't think Detroit was the same team they had been in the past few years. I think they were getting up there in age. I don't think Ben Wallace was the force that he used to be. I don't even was Ben Wallace even on that team?
He
Is
was,
didn't he leave the year before? I'm not sure,
I want to say he
but
was on the team. He didn't play as much,
he
and like you
wasn't.
said, he was going out and hurt that year.
Yeah, he wasn't the same Big Ben, and uh, LeBron at that point in his career, if you didn't have a rim protector, he gonna eat.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was probably I would have to say outside of the matchups with the Warriors, that was my favorite LeBron James performance ever.
Yeah. And I wanted like, and it was just respecting the like. I don't like for me it'd be the 187 career victory. I had that's an iconic feat. It's tough to not, but that 2007 that was the one. I have it in the middle of my page. I could remember almost possession of possession. What he's going to do bucket for bucket when he went behind his back, getting the pull up on Chauncey for the three, going to the cup, throwing it down, Max Shields staring. I mean, just the fillet, as they call it. LeBron James just did that. That game itself was special. And I'm gonna bring it right back to you because you've been hitting me with some of these wonderful, great, iconic performances, and you talked about someone special. So I'm waiting for this one. It's on you, Post. Talk to the people.
Liam, that was my very first one.
Ooh,
That game right there, that was just awesome, man. But I'm gonna take it back to 2002 and MossBurgh. The truth shall set you free. And we talking
ooh.
about Paul Pierce, 2002 versus the Nets. 19 of his 28 points came in the fourth quarter to overcome a 21-point deficit. Gotta love Paul Pierce, man. I think a lot of people don't bring him up as much as he needs to be brought up. He was such a great scorer back in the day, man. Just
Talk
really an
about it.
elite player, one of the better small forwards I've seen in my day.
When
Bro,
you Yeah,
eliminating a 21-point deficit and scoring 19 in a fourth? Crazy work.
crazy work, man. Crazy work. They call him the truth, right? You said the truth will set you free. If you think about Paul Pierce, you know, he set a lot of people free. They met the truth. They got a dose of the truth. He set them free and let their wings be free. And they, did great things in their career. I just had to get that in there because when you mentioned Paul Pierce, you're talking about a Kansas product that was special. When he came to the NBA, we knew what he could do. Um, when he did things in Boston that no one seen what he could really do. but he have one of the, I think still today, one of the toughest pull-ups, one of the coldest nicknames in NBA history. His name is iconic, the truth. So when you talk about Paul Pierce, when you say the truth, they like you went against the truth. They're like, what? You really it goes in your back. Your hairs twitch, because you're trying to figure out who this is. But it's Paul Pierce, man. Special. I think, I remember so many battles him and LeBron had, Boston and Cleveland. The battles he had with Bean, man, rest in peace. You're thinking about someone that's played in every era of a legend, and they had to go against Paul Pierce, the truth, to get to that championship. Think about it. So, that's just something to think about, and what he brought to the game, I think, is something that will be forever etched in the NBA. When you think about iconic performances of someone putting the ball in the rim, you got to think about Paul Pierce and a score the way he did. He scored in bunches, as we seen. And as you said, those straight points, just a lot of buckets. And he does that. And I think, when we speak about iconic performances, Post, it's a name we ain't spoke about. We hear 46 minutes and counting into this NBA playoff iconic performance. So it's only right when we got One Take Zay in the building, and he's back for another banger, as he say. And he said, bro, was really the truth for real. But all I could think about when people bring his name up is the fan throwing his headband back. That was an iconic moment too, which is crazy because they talk about that in his iconic moments, being one with that. And for me, when we talk about iconic, it's only right we talk about the man himself, Post. I think one of the most iconic performers ever in a game of basketball. Playoff points still stand at the top. He's my GOAT at the top. People call me his lookalike growing up. We talking MJ, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know we can't talk about nothing iconic, and we talking NBA without talking about the GOAT himself, MJ. And I'm talking about the game, 86, playoff record, 63 Ps, in the Garden, on Larry Legend. What's your thoughts, Post? We could go on and on about this here game, but when we talk MJ, it's a slew of GOATs that can go into that talk with this iconic performance, and it still stands today. No one has touched the 63 points by MJ.
Bro, what else can I say that hasn't been said? For me, Michael Jordan is the best player to ever pick up a basketball. 6'6", leap into the moon. They called him Air Jordan. They didn't call him that for no reason. Huge hands, a great defender, 9-time first team all defense. Can mix you up, take you down low, mid range. You know how I like to say it: low post, mid post, high post. Mike did it all. He can dunk on you. He was dunking on 7-footers back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was dunking on 7-footers. My favorite play was when he was on the baseline. I think Starks was guarding him. And then he drove. Ewan came to help, and he went back around. Then he spent back and dunked on Ewan. That was tough right there.
Double nickel.
But yeah, bro, there's nothing else to say. I think people are crazy when they say, and in respect to Brian, but I think people are crazy when they say he's better than Jordan. Anytime I hear somebody say that, I say, you must not know nothing about basketball. That's just me. I think MJ is the GOAT, the black cat, Air Jordan. That dude was 6'6", running a 4.3.
And they wonder why he like Ferraris. He giving you Ferrari speed while he's out on the court doing his deeds. I think, for me, when you think of iconic performances, playoffs, you spoke on the double nickel in the Garden. I mean, it's playoff performance after playoff performance, when you talk about Mike, it's one after another. I even have that shot. You think about the shot as they call it. And that's another series where he just dominated and did things, had fans going home, tears drowning from their faces. I mean, it's like you said, Post, what can we say that no one hasn't said when it comes to the GOAT, MJ? And I'm gonna stop what I'm saying and I'm gonna pass the mic to you because I know you got another great one and we could tap into that as we continue to what we do best this evening.
Yeah. So the guy I'm gonna bring up for all-time great playoff performances is a guy. A lot of people argue that when you talk about LeBron James and this being his era recently, some people think it was actually Steph Curry's era. But I
Sir.
want to pull up. I want to pull up one performance, bro, and that was 2023. Yes, sir, Zay. 2023 against the Kings in the first round, Game 7, 50 burger, which I believe is still a record for a Game 7. 50 burger to clinch the series in a Game 7. All time great playoff performance, bro.
Steph, Steph, Steph. Man, where do you start? Where do you stop? You're talking about not only he's changed the game, but like you said, he's calling, a lot of people's thoughts and bringing him into this GOAT talk, and he's there to stay. You're talking about a player that's literally changed the game when he's in the playoffs. As you know, a few weeks ago, I spoke on it. I would love to see him make a run. I think we still going to see a run from Curry in the playoffs before his time is up. And for him to drop this 50 burger, as you called it, I think it was special because a lot of people always think Steph Curry is going to shoot the three ball. In this game, he was getting to the bucket. He was getting to the free throw line, but when he hit his threes, most of them was mic'd up nets, as we call them, nothing but the bottom. And it just goes to show how great of a player he is, how iconic of a player he is, and this iconic performance that he has us and brought us to discuss and bring his name to the forefront even more. And I might get off topic, but we talking about Steph Curry. And yes, Joey B is the great. We appreciate you tuning in, Nate Schroeder. And you see what this is right here. This is Joey B. This that high school Athens. And I got a Bengals review coming up. And I definitely like all my Bengal fans to tune in because we got some things to talk about. But for me, when you talk about Steph Curry, I think it's just a special talent. You could go from the series when he played against the Cavs, but this one here, a 50 burger, they forget about this one, Post. They forget about this one, and I'm glad you brought it up. And I was just reading about Steph Curry and his shoe deal, so many things that he's done. We appreciate the sub, Nate. Make sure you sub to all the channels you see at the bottom as well, scrolling across. Also, we appreciate you live from Cincy, and make sure that you reach out, WTPSportsDudes.com. I would love to have you on. We could get some Bengals talk and so much more as well. We appreciate you tuning in from the jungle, as they call it in Cincinnati. But when you, as we were, talking about Steph Curry, special, excellent sniper, as they say, when you hear sniper referring to Kevin Durant, but I think when you talk about the three-pointer, the way it's changed, you see 63 pointers being taken a game. You see 53 pointers taken in a game. I don't think that really happened on a consistent basis until Steph touched ground in the NBA. You're talking about shooting the ball from places you've never seen it shot before on a consistent.
Let me let me ask you a question, MossBurgh.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think influenced the people more, Steph Curry or LeBron James?
This is deep. This is a deep one. I
Just
think
influenced.
you got to go with Steph Curry because I think the basketball game today shows his influence, not just a basketball game. I got my game system, which I'll be getting on and working on my gaming channel as well. He changed the game on the game system. They don't even shoot 2-pointers in the game. They'll have a free layup post. They could dunk on the game and they will swing the ball out for a 3-pointer. But if it's a steal, it'll be shocking to them. I'll go with Steph Curry.
I'm gonna tell you why I think Steph Curry had a bigger influence on the people. It's because like most people aren't 6'9", 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Most people look closer to look like Steph Curry as opposed to LeBron James. So that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, he had a bigger influence on the public than LeBron James because like they can relate to being small, not a huge person that can run through the lane and dunk on you. Yeah. But I can pull up from anywhere like Steph can.
Yeah. And that's what you're seeing. Everybody want to do what Steph could do, but everybody can't do what Steph can do. And we can see that, when you talk about Steph Curry, and it's something when we talking about the iconic playoff performances that you break away and you talk about Steph Curry, but I think this goes hand in hand exactly with your question, and I appreciate that because the game has changed. Steph Curry has influenced the game to change the game. Now, who can come in and be that influence to make that game come back and change again? That's, something to look at down the road because we may be looking at the greatest player to some, arguably the GOAT. We know where we sit with that, but we got to look at the fact that there's another man that's right there on Mount Rushmore with your GOAT that a lot of people say today, and he's totally changed the game to where it's becoming a different culture in the game. You got to find certain ways to build around teams to fit that game. So it's definitely something I think, when you really go back and look at it over and over. Said Bron can defend 1 through 5 and play 1 through 5 offensively. We appreciate you as well this evening, Nate Schrader, coming live from Cincinnati. Bron, the GOAT, and WTP. If he was in the chat, he might be watching live. He'll probably come in and comment because when he see Bron talk, he definitely jumps in the chat, especially when we talking GOAT. Appreciate you tuning in as well. One Take Zay this evening said they better not let Curry get another chip. Totally agree. What's your thoughts on that post game? One Take Zay said they better not let Curry get another chip.
Yeah, they better hope he doesn't because, that's going to probably end the argument.
Yeah.
It's going to end the argument.
I agree. That's crazy.
But, at this point, bro, they talking about Steph Curry or Steve Kerr moving on. What kind of team can you put around Steph Curry at this age of his career that can compete for a title? Yeah. So many guys are getting injured, man. So I would like to see it. I would like to see Steph Curry. I think it's good for basketball if he's able to go on another run like he did earlier in his career. So we'll see what happens.
I agree. Totally agree. And we appreciate everyone tuning in this evening, man, with the first part 1 series in iconic NBA performance. We appreciate you, Brother Blondie. Jimmy Jam in the building with us, our encyclopedia, almanac, our treasure book for all the great stories of things that we may not have came across, but when I say encyclopedia, more knowledge than a book itself. He said if Jimmy can come back healthy, him, Porzingis, and Curry can get it done. I agree. I think that's something special. I
The,
just want to make sure. Go ahead, Post.
yeah, potentially. The only problem I have with those three players you named, they've been banged up like lately. Like they can't stay healthy lately. If they can stay healthy, I'm with you.
Totally agree. That was my whole thing on it too. As long as they can stay healthy, because I think Jimmy was, he's playing pretty good before the injury, and that was my thoughts. During that time of them being good, would he stay healthy? Great, great guy, man. I can remember playing with him on 2K, actually, and getting a career high and 60 plus points with him in the game. So I know it's possible. And like you said, if they could be healthy, I think they definitely could be a scary team in that West, not knowing what type of things could happen in the offseason for teams.
I mean, it's assuming they put some more pieces around those three players. I mean, of course.
The brother Blondie, he said, and by the way, Klay Thompson is more of a global icon than Megan Thee Stallion. Brother Blondie, Jimmy Jam, Mr. Encyclopedia, we appreciate you. Any other ones you have for us this evening, Post?
Yeah, we can go all night if you want to, man.
I already know, man. We could go all night. We could mess around and go to the early morning. We want to keep the people thinking. We coming, but I want one you got because I know you got a banger for us.
Yeah, man. One of the best playoff performances that I'm going to bring up happened in 2019. 27 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists. Kawhi the Claw Leonard to secure Toronto's first NBA Finals appearance against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Special. I was over Giannis. I was Chris Middleton. I was Lopez. I can't remember if they had Tucker on that squad then, but they had the Greek Freak. That was when, the Bucks was feeling that they could get over that hump, but the Claw and you talking about will the team, will the organization brought a country and in so many ways something special, something iconic. And for me, I really didn't do a lot of research or look too much more on Canada until some of those things happened with what Kawhi Leonard did. He really shook the landscape when he won that championship in Toronto, and to get them where he got them, I think that was special. Going against the team you did, really being yourself and doing these things. And we can't forget Kawhi came from an organization where he did win titles. This is Kawhi's first time being on his own with the organization. All eyes on Kawhi. What can he do on his own? Is this someone we could really look at as being one of the top players in the NBA? He went and proved it, done it. And I think we got to give his credit, give him his flowers, because that wasn't an easy run, what he did in Toronto, but he did it. And he did it against some of the greatest players in that East that year. So respect is given to what he's done for sure when it comes to the call, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, 100%.
Got brother Blondie coming in and get some of the questions answered. She said Brown averaged 34, 9, and 9 in that 2018 playoffs. I'd give anything to go back in time and watch that live again. Definitely something special. And we got brother Blondie again. He said Kawhi Leonard is still the only player in NBA history to hit a buzzer beater to win a game 7 during the championship run. Yes, sir. And we have Nate again, and we appreciate you, Nate, coming in from Cincinnati. Who they in the building? Yes, indeed. He said, let's be honest, though. Toronto is lucky KD went out and Clay. Man, special because man, I think that's the series to where, for me, I would have loved to see Kevin Durant healthy because when they matched up against each other, it was like you was really seeing him and Kawhi really, go at it against each other in that series, before that did happen. But man, that could be left for a what if. You should go back, check out our What If Wednesday segment that I had started towards the end of March. Mr. Nate started a What If Wednesday and finished up with part 5. We're going to definitely come back to that, and I'm definitely going to keep you in mind when we speak on that as well. He said, but he definitely deserved the flowers. I agree. He said, no doubt. I was hyped to see the matchup, best defender versus best scorer. I totally agree. For me, Post, I kind of didn't want to get at people too many iconic performances, but I think we did a great job leaving them with so many to think about that we got left. I mean, it's so many different iconic performances we still got to talk about when it comes to MJ, when it comes to LeBron, when it comes to Magic, when it comes to Larry Legend. There's so many people we didn't even talk about. We got Bubble Talk. We got Giannis bringing Milwaukee a champ. I mean, it's so many different iconic performances. If it's someone that you would like for us to talk about, bringing a iconic performance to, let us know in the chat, type it in, or you can reach out to us. You see our emails or add us in the comments as well. And you can check us out, WTPSportsDudes.com. You'll get a bio on us all, and we'll definitely have all the answers for you, try to get you on the show, bring up all those different talks that you would like to hear as well throughout the week. And we got something special coming for you as the rest of the week goes through some different talks. And we got Brother Blondie. He said, what if Bernard King and Patrick Ewing were both healthy at the same time? Brother Blondie, we got part 6 coming, because y'all making me come with part 6. But I'm going to save it for y'all. I'm going to save part 6 for y'all for a few weeks, and I'll get to y'all, tell y'all about that why here soon. Anything else you got to say to the people, Post, before I take us out here in a few?
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all. We appreciate y'all support. We appreciate y'all tuning in, smashing that like button, subscribing to the channels. It helps us out tremendously. We appreciate y'all. It helps us keep coming with the fire for y'all to listen to. So we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you in here, Nate. You right on top of me, man, with that 2027 Super Bowl champs, though. Take that to the bank, boys. I love you so much more, Nate. We appreciate you tuning in. I would love to have you on my Bengals season review. Once I get that going, we need to talk. We need to send some emails to each other and get some things set up and going. And I know we spoke about some things on the boxing side, Post. I think the last few weeks, and we've been chatting a lot about boxing. So I'm here to tell the people, MossBurgh be working, Post. Next Wednesday, we won't be bringing you part 2, but we bringing you a conversation with MossBurgh featuring Columbus, Ohio legend, Mr. Vonzell Johnson, live from Douglas Rec Center. We're going to get a talk with one of the boxing greats of our city, of our state here, who's doing some special work with Mr. Linnell Walton as he's preparing himself for these nationals, man. And we just want to thank him. I'm going to give him his flowers as I do when I see him, but I'm going to give him here live, man. We appreciate what you do, Mr. Vonzell Johnson, and I can't wait to sit down and have that one-on-one conversation with MossBurgh, with yourself. Looking forward to it, man. And I try to bring everything to the people, man. Behind closed doors, we do a lot of work, and it's just a part of what we do, man. Try to bring you guys one-on-ones and so many different things. Outside of that, man, it was just a great show. Great having you on this evening, Post, man. And when I say I appreciate you always tuning in for my Wednesday shows, being here, Without you, I don't think I could get this done as easy as it is, man. Without you, it's not easy. With you, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as they say, man. Makes things so much better, and I greatly appreciate it. Ali is mine as well, Mr. Schrader. So we'll definitely be bringing some more boxing talks to you as well. We just getting started, man, with what we do. I told y'all 26 is going to heat up. And when we say we're going to be on the heater, we're going to be on that heater like Curry was on that 50 burger that post game was talking about, as well as all these other iconic performances that we've been talking about, man. But as for us this evening, man, we about to get out of here so we can get ready to bring you another show, get some work done through the night as we do. But anything else you want to say to the people again before we get out of here, Post?
Oh, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe.
As always, man, y'all know what we do, man. We always come in the building a little bit, and then we take our time to get out because we don't want to leave y'all. But we got to get the, you know what, up out of here, as they always say, man, when you was younger, because that's what you do, man. You just having fun and we doing what we do best. But we appreciate y'all all tuning in. Make sure y'all go follow all the channels y'all see at the bottom. And KT's Good Eats, we going to be cooking it up all this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure you come out and you get some good grub. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Much love, as we always do. Peace. We out.